My name is Kianna Kotas. I go to Patrick Henry High School and I'm 18 years old. One of my hobbies is working with children. I've always wanted a younger sibling, but have never gotten one. And about 6 years ago, I decided to take a course at my local library, an 8-hour course, and where I was able to become certified for human CPR and child and infant Heimlich maneuver. And I started babysitting about 2 months after that. And I have continued nannying that family for over 5 years. And I started when the first daughter was 2 months old. She's now 5 and has twin younger sisters who I babysit as well. And I've traveled internationally with them. And I've also babysat for people locally in my community other than them. And I got the opportunity to expand my education by taking a child development class at my high school, and I love it so much. There was a 6-week training period, but after that we were able to go and become teacher's assistants for surrounding preschools and elementary schools. So now I have my own 12 kids who I get to teach every day, and we get to do fun little art activities. And I'm planning on doing something in the future pertaining to teaching children. So I just think that, I love how one of my interests grew into my passions. Ever since I was 4, I wanted to own an orphanage. So my mom has no idea where it came from. My grandma always thought that she was threatening me. She's like, "Oh, I'll send you to the orphanage if you misbehave," which was not true. But I just always wanted to work with kids. And then for my birthdays, I would ask for siblings. And my mom was like, "No, you're enough." And it just never really happened. But I still have this loving compassion and empathy for them, which I would love to dive deeper in. One of my favorite accomplishments is connecting people to resources. I'm part of a program called Elizabeth Hospice, which is a nonprofit organization that connects grieving children and grieving families to resources. I originally started with this group when I was 11 after my own father unexpectedly passed away. And at the beginning, this group taught me about coping mechanisms and how to stay regulated all throughout my middle school and high school years, and still some I still use some of those aspects to this day. And then I decided to further my volunteering with them and become one of their camp counselors, or their teen camp counselors, where I was able to plan their summer camps, plan the activities, and then organize the materials. Additionally, I continued with them after COVID when we all came back to high school. I was a co-founder in starting my high school's very own grief group club, which opened up opportunities for students who, 1, didn't know this group existed, and 2, who were maybe not able to transport there and back before. And so it took these kids out of class and was able to give them the resource they needed and help other students understand that they weren't alone in this opportunity. One of my hardest challenges was when I was about 6 years old, or in first grade. I was living with my dad and his live-in girlfriend at the time, and she would use writing as a form of punishment, which completely altered the way that I saw writing in general. I stopped writing for about 2 years straight, and I could only do assessments orally. And every time I would hold a pencil, I would start to well up and burst into tears. And I had to work with my teachers and my parents and persevere and kind of find this grit within myself to be able to start writing again, which I knew I was gonna have to eventually, because it's such an important part of our society and how businesses work, and for college and for middle and high school. And I was actually able to win my 4th grade essay contest, which I never thought I was gonna do. And so it was just really nice to like go back and see like all the emotions, like the emotional blockage that I had when I was little, and how I was able to overcome that at such a young age. And whenever I'm in this moment of like academic stress, I'm able to like remember that moment and see like, oh, I never thought I was gonna be able to win an award for writing, which is this thing I hate so much, still to this day. But yeah, my advice would be to be present, be pleasant, and be prepared. So starting off, like you want to be present in the moment that you're in, and just be able to experience life like as it comes, and then be pleasant. Like always keep this attitude of like generosity and like kindness, and it's gonna help you in everything that you do, because like you never know who's gonna become your boss eventually. And like I know that's a cliche, but that's very true. And then be prepared, because every moment comes to an end, and you want to understand that ahead of time. Like no matter how much fun you're having in this one moment, it will pass. And I feel like you have to emotionally prepare yourself for that. And so that way when it ends, you're not completely like distraught. And then also like with the bad moments, you understand that this too will pass, and there will be new things in the future, and it may look a little different than how it does now. But one of my future goals is to start a nonprofit organization that teaches foster youth about financial literacy. So this again started when I was little and working with foster children, and then in elementary or in middle school, I started talking to my mom about how I wanted to adopt kids, and then she's like, oh, why not turn that into a career? And then I started looking into social working and realized like that wasn't necessarily for me, and I've always been like adept at numbers. And so then I was looking more into like the business side of it. And then like I said, like my dad passed away, and through this like shift in our family, I had to learn about finances in a completely different way. I had to learn about budgeting, the loss of an income, and just like different types of bank accounts. And then I like internally realized like, oh, like my mom's teaching me this, but like she didn't know this ahead of time. Like what about kids who are in group homes or don't have these parental figures? Like who are they gonna learn this from if this financial literacy is not taught in school and is supposed to be taught at home?